Hello children, I am Veena here. I am your English teacher. This is your first session of class grade 3. I am going on with your first lesson, that is on the pasture. So we have a couple of new words which we come across for today's session. So let me read out the words first. It is awaken, whistle, shivering, obliged, snarly, clapping, pasture. Let me spell out the words for you. It is A-W-A-K-E-N-E-T. Awaken, whistle. W-H-I-S-T-L-E. Whistle. Shivering. S-H-I-V-E-R-I-N-G. Shivering. Obliged. O-B-L-R-G-E-D. Obliged. Snarly. S-H-S-C-H-W-A-N-L-I. Snarly. Clapping. C-L-A-P-P-I-N-G. Clapping. Pasture. P-A-S-T-U-R-E. Pasture. So these are a few little new words which we come across today's session. Children, I would request you to write it down in your classworks. Either it is, if you have your notebooks, then please read over your classworks. Or else you can do it in your rough notebooks. Okay? But when you write it, please spell out the words and then write it. Make sure what you are writing, you will be spelling it out. Okay? More and more you practice, more and more you will be having these particular words very thoroughly. Yes? Now let us start with the textbook. I'll start with the first lesson. I will tell you what all is there, what is pasture, all these things. Yeah, this is your first lesson. If you open up your textbook, you can see your first lesson here on the pasture. So now, you all might be wondering, this is a very new word for you people. What is pasture? Pasture is nothing but a green grass field where the cattle are being eaten. Cattle are being eaten in the sense cows, goats go have their grass, eat their grass. That is called as pasture. Yeah. Now we have a small warm up over here. Have you all seen hills? Have you all visited mountains? Yes? Yeah, that's a beautiful place. Highest peak. Then you go, you can see a small houses. It's just like a miniature. Yes? Yeah. So please visit a mountain if you have not, and please share your thoughts with your friends, nor else it is me when you come back to the class. Yes? So we'll move on to the lesson. Eddie was awakened early next morning by a loud whistle. So here we have a small girl, her name is Eddie. She is gone to her grandpa's place. So further going we'll be knowing where she is. So she awakened in the sense she woke up from her sleep for a loud whistle. She heard a loud whistle. Someone blow the whistle. Whistle you have all seen. It's a instrument which you blow air in it and there's a sound coming out from it. It's called as whistle. Opening her eyes, she saw her little bed and the hay beside her bathed in a golden sunlight. Can you see that? She's lying down here. She's Ellie. There's a golden bed there. Yes, this is the pasture where she's sleeping. And then you can see this, the sunlight penetrates here. Yeah. For a short while, she did not know where she was. But when she heard her grandfather's deep voice outside, she recollected everything. She remembered how she had come up the mountain the day before and left old Herschel. Yes, now she realizes that, Hattie realizes that she is in her grandpa's place. Yeah, as well. When she hears that blowing whistle voice, she woke up from her sleep and she is now realizing that her grandpa is also calling her in a deep voice. So she also realizes that now she is in her grandpa's place, how she came to that mountain. As well, she has left old Urshel. Old Urshel is her aunt. It's a woman. She left old Urshel, who was always shivering with the cold and sat near the stove all day. So old Urshel, old grandmas, have you seen? They shiver a lot, and if there is a cold climate outside, they usually sit with a bonfire. Bonfire is nothing but logs of wood. Yes, so always she sits near the stove only to get herself warm. While Eddie lived with Urshel, she had always been obliged to keep in the house, where the old women could see her. Being deaf, Urshel was afraid to let Eddie go outdoors. So Urshel was an old woman. She was deaf here. You can see that paragraph telling that Urshel was deaf. She usually sat near the stove to warm herself. As well, she did not wanted Harry to go out. Why? What was the reason she did not want want Harry to go out of the house? Always she was obliged. Obliged is asking sorry. So she was sorry that Harry could not go out of the house. Might be there is problems if she goes out. Since she is very small, she might skip and fall. All these thoughts are there with Herschel. So Herschel did not wanted Harry to go out of the house. No. Women could see her. Being deaf, Herschel was afraid to let Harry go outdoors, and the child had often, moving on to your next page, often flirted in the narrow room and had a long run outside. She was therefore delighted to find herself in her new home and hardly could wait to see the goats again jumping out of the bed. Yes, Harry, now what she did, she heard her grandpa's voice. She just jumped out from her bed and she walked out to see the goats. See the goats, put on her things in a short time. She just put on her small dress which was there lying beside her in a very short time. Went down the ladder and ran outside. So she just walked down to the ladder and she ran outside. Why did she run outside? Peter was already there with his flock waiting, Schnabel and Barley. These are two goats which our grandpa newly bought. And there's a boy here, you can just see his name. His name is Peter, who looked after the cattle, whom the grandfather was just bringing to join the other goats. So these was two little new goats which was joining this old goat herd. So his grandpa is bringing those two goats as well, whom the grandfather was just bringing to join the other goats. Do you want to go with him to the pasture? So grandpa is questioning Harry, do you want to really go with Peter to the pasture? Asked the grandfather. Yes, cried Harry, clapping her hands. So Harry was very happy now. She wanted to go to the pasture with the goats, with Peter along. So she just clapped her hand with happiness. Go now and wash yourself first, for the sun will laugh at you. Yes, this is a small joke which grandpa is doing with Harry. So she is not still bathed herself, so he's just telling her, just look at you how you are, so that if the sun sees you, he will not laugh at you. If he sees how dirty you are, Everything is ready there for you, he added, pointing to a large tub of water that stood in the sun. So there was a large tub which was kept with water, Harry to have a small bath. Harry did as she was told. So Harry was a very beautiful child here, listening to her grandfather. She did not take a word. She just went and she took a bath and washed and rubbed herself till her cheeks were glowing. In the meanwhile, the grandfather called to Peter to come into the hut and bring his bag along. So meanwhile, while Harry was bathing, Peter was being called from the grandfather saying that get your bag with you. So we'll have a quick reading of the lesson. Remember, Harry was awakened early next morning by a loud whistle. Opening her eyes, she was her little bed and the hay beside the bathed in the golden sunlight. For a short while she did not know where she was, but when she heard her grandfather's deep voice outside, she recollected everything. She remembered how she had come up the mountain the day before and left old Herschel, who was always shivering with cold, and sat near the stove all day. While Harry lived with Herschel, she had always been obliged to keep in the house where the old women could see her being deaf. Herschel was afraid to let Harry go outside, and the child had often faded in a narrow room and had a longed to run outside. She was therefore delighted to find herself in her new home and hardly could wait to see the goats again. Jumping out of bed, she put on her few things and in a short time went down the ladder and ran outside. Peter was already with his flock waiting for Snarling and Barley, whom the grandfather was just bringing to join the other goats. Do you want to go with him to the pasture? Yes, cried Harry, clapping her hands. Go now and wash yourself first, for the sun will laugh at you if he sees how dirty you are. Everything is ready there for you, he added, putting to a large tub of water that stood in the sun. Harry did as she was told, and washed and rubbed herself till her cheeks were glowing. The meanwhile, the grandfather called to the Peter to come into the hut and bring his bag along. The boy followed the old man. So we'll have the next reading in the next session of the class. Thank you.